I want you to take a moment, just 1 minute, and ask yourself this. Is there a gentle, natural way to ease those nagging aches in your joints? The stiff mornings, the restless nights, because everything just feels heavy and worn. If that thought has ever crossed your mind, then this video is for you. Hi there, I'm Dr. David. I'm 62 this year, and I've spent over 3 decades working in healthcare, mostly with folks over the age of 50. And you know what? I've learned one thing that nobody seems to say out loud. Growing older doesn't mean we have to accept living in pain. We just need to learn how to listen to our bodies and give them things that are simple, kind, and quietly powerful. I remember this moment so clearly. A former patient of mine, Helen, she was 73 at the time, sat across from me one afternoon, eyes full of tears. She looked at me and said, "Doctor, I just don't want to be on pills forever. I wish there was something else, gentler, but still helpful, something that lets me move like I used to." That question stuck with me for years, and in many ways, it's what started me on a journey looking for natural ways, gentle but strong enough to support healing, especially for joints that have carried us through so many chapters of life. And here's something I've come to believe deeply. Sometimes a warm cup of tea in the morning, or at night before bed, can be a quiet kind of medicine. Not magic, not a miracle, but a little daily gift to your body to calm the swelling, soften the aches, and help those tired joints feel just a little more flexible again. Now, I'm not saying tea will replace your medication, and it won't make the pain disappear overnight. But when you choose the right tea, and you drink it regularly, it can feel like a slow, steady stream, gently flowing through your joints, easing, soothing, and healing, bit by bit. Today, I want to share with you 6 teas that are incredibly simple, easy to brew, easy to find. You don't need to climb a mountain or order some exotic blend online. These are teas I've recommended to hundreds of my patients. And you know what? A few weeks later, many of them came back, not just with less stiffness, but with a smile that said, "Doctor, I think it's working." I believe this. When you really understand what your body needs, you realize that the most powerful healing often starts with the smallest, most ordinary things. A root in your kitchen, a nightly ritual, a quiet way of caring for yourself without pain, without rush. So if you or someone you love is living with the quiet frustration of joint pain, I invite you, pour yourself a cup of hot water. Sit down with me, and let's explore 6 teas that can gently soothe those overworked joints from the inside out the natural way. Are you ready today? We're not going to start with medications or complicated medical jargon. No, I just want to invite you to a cup of tea. Not some fancy overpriced brand, just a cup of ginger tea. Simple, warm, and maybe the companion your joints have been waiting for. One of my patients, Eliza, she's 70, told me something once that made me smile. "Doctor, I don't know if ginger is a miracle cure, but every morning when I drink that cup of tea, my hands and knees don't feel as stiff. I walk a little easier, and somehow my heart feels a little lighter too." And I believe her. Not because I'm obsessed with herbs, but because science agrees with what she's feeling. You see, ginger contains a natural compound called gingerol. It's been studied for its ability to reduce inflammation, swelling, and pain, especially in people with mild to moderate arthritis or joint degeneration. Now, I want you to imagine this. You wake up in the morning, and your body feels like an old clock that needs winding. Your knees, your hands, your hips, they feel stiff, distant, like they're not even part of you anymore. Have you ever felt that ginger tea won't fix it all? But it can be a quiet whisper to your body. It's okay. We're going to move again. We're taking care of ourselves now. And the recipe. It's as simple as it gets. Just slice a few pieces of fresh ginger. Boil it for about 10 minutes. Add a bit of honey or lemon if you like. Something comforting, something personal. But here's the real secret. It's not about how long you boil it or how much ginger you use. The most important part is that you do it every day. Because healing, real lasting healing, isn't about big dramatic change. It's about consistency. It's about love. It's about small acts repeated over time that tell your body, I haven't given up on you. I'm still here. We're still in this together. And that is sometimes stronger than any pill. A cup of ginger tea. It might just be the beginning of a more comfortable morning. A gentler step. A quiet feeling that says, I'm still doing something good for myself. And sometimes, that's all it takes. You don't have to do anything big to care for your health. Just start with a warm cup of tea every day consistently. Your body will feel it. And your joints, they'll thank you for it. I'll see you in the next video. And if you know someone who's been struggling with stiff joints and achy mornings, please pass along this little invitation from me, a cup of ginger tea with a gentle touch of hope. Now let me paint a picture for you. It's a chilly morning. Soft sunlight peeks through the window. You pour yourself a cup of hot green tea. With your hands wrapped around the warm mug, you sit down and simply breathe. Your body still heavy from a restless night, maybe with a dull ache in your knees or shoulders, slowly begins to feel a little lighter. Have you ever had a moment like that, I ask? Because so many of my patients in their 60s, 70s tell me they've gotten used to it. Used to the popping and clicking of their joints. Used to mornings that feel like climbing out from under a pile of bricks. Used to thinking, well, I guess that's just age. But then there was Carl, 66 years old, who made me smile one morning when he said, Doc, I swapped my morning coffee for green tea. Never thought that pale-looking drink would leave me feeling more awake and less stiff in the knees. I wasn't surprised. Because green tea is one of nature's quiet miracles. You see, inside that tiny tea leaf is a powerful compound called EGCG. I know the full name is a mouthful, but here's all you need to remember. It's a strong antioxidant, especially helpful for people dealing with arthritis or joint degeneration. Think of EGCG as a silent bodyguard protecting the cartilage in your joints that cushion between your bones from wearing away over time. When you drink green tea regularly, EGCG helps calm inflammation inside the joints, eases swelling, and slows down the breakdown of cartilage, which, by the way, is exactly what many prescription meds aim to do. But it doesn't stop there. Green tea has a little side gift that many people love. It wakes you up gently. Not like coffee, which can make your heart race and leave you crashing hours later. Green tea gives you a steady, calm energy. Just enough to feel clear-headed, refreshed, especially in the morning. I often suggest to my patients, especially those dealing with sleep issues or feeling sluggish after breakfast, to try swapping their morning coffee for a warm cup of green tea. And if you want to boost its effect, squeeze in a few drops of fresh lemon juice. Why? Because the vitamin C in lemon helps your body absorb EGCG more effectively. Think of it like a helpful doorman opening the gate so this powerful antioxidant can get to work. A small action with a big impact. Here's what I want you to take away. Green tea isn't some magical cure. But if you commit to it 1 cup a day, it becomes a quiet companion. Helping you through sluggish mornings, calming down cranky joints, and clearing the mental fog. Getting older isn't the time to give up. It's the time to choose wisely. And a morning cup of green tea might be one of those wise choices. There are things so simple, so everyday, that we tend to overlook them. A leaf, a kettle, a small daily ritual. But sometimes, those tiny things are what make us feel cared for again. Healthier, lighter, more ourselves. Today I want to tell you about another leaf. One that's well known in many Asian households, but still unfamiliar to most in the West. It's called Jin Lung, a traditional Vietnamese herb. Locals often call it the poor man's ginseng. And honestly, I think that name does it justice. One of my patients, Mrs. Lan, 66 years old from Vietnam, once brought me a small bag of dried leaves. She smiled and said, "Doctor, where I'm from, every elder knows this plant. We boil the leaves and drink it like water every day. Ever since I started, my knees feel less stiff, and walking got a little easier. I was curious, so I looked into it. And to my surprise, traditional medicine has used Jin Lung for centuries to promote blood circulation, reduce joint pain, and enhance mobility. Modern science is beginning to catch up. Some studies now suggest that Jin Lung contains compounds that improve circulation and ease inflammation, exactly what aging joints often need. And you know these days, modern science is finally starting to catch up with what traditional wisdom has known for generations. The leaves of Polycius fruticosa, what many call Vietnamese ginseng, contain natural compounds that help improve blood circulation and gently calm inflammation. And that's important, especially as we age, because poor circulation and chronic inflammation often go hand in hand with stiff joints numbness and that dragging fatigue in our limbs. So I began suggesting this to some of my patients, especially those who couldn't tolerate strong medications or who simply wanted a softer, more natural way to care for their bodies. Drink a cup of Jin Lung tea every day. It's simple. Just take a small handful of fresh leaves or dried ones. If that's all you have, give them a rinse and simmer them in hot water for 15 to 20 minutes. Strain it, let it cool, and sip it throughout the day like regular water. After just 2 or 3 weeks, the feedback I started hearing made me quietly smile inside. My knees don't feel so stiff in the mornings. I feel lighter. I don't walk as awkwardly as before. And one patient said something that truly stayed with me, "Doctor. Just sipping warm herbal water each morning. It feels like I'm taking care of myself slowly, but with real kindness." Have you ever felt that way? That quiet sense of taking back a little control over your own body? Not with pills, not with fast promises, but with something small, steady, something you do every day, like a gentle ritual. Growing older may slow our steps, but it also gives us a chance to return to what's simple. A cup of tea, a single leaf, a quiet moment in the day, where you pause, listen to your body and say, "I'm still here, and I choose to live kindly with myself." Jin Lung isn't a miracle, but for me and for many of my patients, it's become a kind friend. A quiet companion gently supporting tired legs that have carried us through the decades. So if today you feel ready to try something different for your body, I invite you to start with a warm pot of Jin Lung tea. Who knows, maybe that's the gentle reminder your body's been waiting for. Now, I want you to imagine this. It's late at night. The house is quiet. You turn off the kitchen light, getting ready for bed. But instead of rushing straight to sleep, you pour yourself a cup of golden milk, warm golden, gently spiced with turmeric and black pepper. You sit down, breathe deeply, and in that small moment, your body understands. It's time to rest. For real. Have you ever had a night where every time you turn in bed, your knee or your hip or your shoulder gives a little jolt of pain? Or that feeling that your body has forgotten how to recover after a long day? I've had many patients like that, One woman, her name was Helen, 74 years old, once told me, "Doctor, I don't expect to feel like I'm 30 again. I just want one good night's sleep, where I don't wake up feeling like I've shattered into 100 pieces." So I gave her what might seem like a silly suggestion: drink a cup of turmeric milk each night. You see, turmeric isn't new. Most of us have cooked with it for years, without realizing that inside that golden root is a powerful compound called curcumin, a natural anti-inflammatory warrior. Curcumin works in the body like a gentle aspirin, calming down inflammation without the stomach irritation of traditional meds. It helps reduce swelling, ease pain, and even supports the repair of damaged joint tissues. But here's something most people don't know. Your body doesn't absorb curcumin well on its own. It needs a friend. And that friend is black pepper. Just a small pinch, that's all it takes, and suddenly your body can absorb curcumin many times more effectively. That's not folk medicine, that's science backed by dozens of studies. I remember about 3 weeks later, Helen came back. She smiled softly and said, "Doctor, I slept through the night, for the first time in years. Now, I'm not saying golden milk is a miracle, but sometimes what we need isn't a stronger drug. It's a softer signal to our body saying, 'I'm here for you. I'm giving you what you need to heal.' Golden milk isn't just a drink. It's a recovery ritual, a quiet way of saying to your body, 'I'm listening to you.' I always recommend drinking it about an hour before bed. That's when your body shifts from survival mode to healing mode. And if you're on a journey to recover your joints, or simply to find a deeper, more peaceful sleep, then a cup of golden milk may be the gentlest, most beautiful place to start. Aging doesn't take away our ability to heal. It just asks us to listen more closely, to be more thoughtful with how we care for ourselves. And sometimes, healing begins with something as simple as a warm cup of milk. Early morning joint pain, especially on chilly days, is something many people over 50 are all too familiar with. But today, I want to share something simple with you. Something that might seem small, yet could make a real difference for your body. A cup of cinnamon tea, fragrant, warming, and gentle like a soft scarf wrapped around your joints from the inside out. You know, cinnamon isn't just something you sprinkle on a muffin. In traditional medicine and even in modern research, cinnamon is known to naturally warm the body, improve circulation, and offer real relief for people who feel stiff or sore when the weather turns cold. Because when blood flow is poor, joints, especially knees and fingers, become more prone to stiffness and discomfort. But a warm cup of cinnamon tea in the morning can help get that blood moving again, bringing warmth back into those chilly corners of the body. One of my patients, James, 72 years old, once told me, "Doc, I don't need anything fancy. Just give me a hot cup of cinnamon tea in the morning. The warmth in my hands, it feels like it reaches all the way to my knees. That's all I need to start my day." And the best part, it's so simple to make. Just take a small cinnamon stick, or even ground cinnamon, and simmer it in hot water for 10 to 15 minutes. Add a spoonful of raw honey if you like a touch of sweetness. And there you have it, a cup that warms you from within and gently soothes your joints. I often tell my patients, don't think of cinnamon tea as medicine. Think of it as your body's good morning hug, a warm greeting that tells your body, "I'm still here, I still care, and I still want to live well today." At our age, we don't need drastic changes to feel better. Just a little more awareness, a little more attention to the morning chill, a bit more willingness to listen to the body before the pain gets loud. And sometimes a quiet cup of cinnamon tea sipped slowly by the window is all it takes to make the day feel a little lighter. Cinnamon tea isn't magic, but it's a habit. A small, steady act of care like a warm handshake you give yourself every morning. So if tomorrow you wake up and the air is still cold and your knees feel a little stiff, try starting your day with a cup of cinnamon tea. Because taking care of your health after 60 isn't about doing more. It's about softening what we've neglected for too long. Let me offer you one more picture to imagine. It's a quiet evening. You're sitting alone in the soft glow of a warm lamp. In your hands is a cup of chamomile tea, pale gold, lightly fragrant, as gentle as a whisper from nature. You take a slow sip and feel your whole body begin to relax just a little more. I once asked one of my patients, a retired engineer in his late 60s, what wears you down the most, the joint pain or the feeling that you can never fully rest? He gave me a tired smile and said, "Doctor, I can handle the pain, but what drains me is never being able to fully let go. It's like my whole body is always strung tight, like a violin string." Have you ever felt that way? Joint pain doesn't always come from inflammation or aging. Sometimes it starts from the invisible chronic tension, unspoken worry, a body that's never given permission to truly rest. When you're constantly stressed, your body produces hormones like cortisol, useful in short bursts, but harmful when they stay elevated day after day. Over time, that stress builds. Hidden inflammation tightens the muscles around your joints and blocks your body's natural repair systems. That's when chamomile tea steps in, not as a cure, but as a friend. A gentle friend that helps calm the nervous system, relax the muscles, and prepare you for true rest, the kind that lets your body heal. There was a small but meaningful study out of the UK showing that people who drank chamomile tea before bed slept better, woke up less during the night, and felt more refreshed in the morning. And for older adults, deep sleep is priceless. That's when your body rebuilds tissue, repairs cartilage, and soothes the inflammation of the day. I once suggested to a patient, a woman close to 70, who often woke up with stiff neck and shoulder pain, to simply try 1 cup of chamomile tea before bed. Not to replace her medication, just as a quiet way to tell her body, "It's okay now. You can let go." 3 weeks later, she came back and said, "I'm sleeping better. I don't dream so much about my old job anymore. And strangely enough, I wake up without that pain in my neck and shoulders." You see, sometimes what the body needs isn't more medication, but just a little less tension. And chamomile tea. It has this way of softening the edges of your day. Not fast, not loud, but gently, quietly. And that kind of healing, it lasts. So if you've been feeling stressed, worn out, if sleep no longer feels like the safe haven it once was, try a cup of chamomile tea in the evening. Not because it's magic, but because it's your body's quiet reminder that you deserve rest. My dear friends, I want us to pause for a moment and really think about this. Every cup of tea might look simple, but it's actually a loving act you give your own body. There's no miracle drink. There's no potion that will erase your pain overnight. But after more than 3 decades of working with older adults, I've learned this: small, consistent choices, done with intention, can lead to the biggest transformations. A cup of ginger tea in the morning, a warm glass of turmeric milk at bedtime, a few sips of chamomile during a busy, restless night. They may not seem like much, but when done daily, when done with love, they become a quiet signal to your body. I'm here. I'm taking care of you. I remember one of my longtime patients. Her name was Marjorie, 72 years old. She lived alone on the edge of the city. She came to see me for chronic shoulder pain and months of poor sleep. We didn't start with prescriptions. We started with something much simpler, a warm pot of tea each night. At first, she was skeptical. "Doctor," she asked, "do you really think a cup of chamomile can make a difference?" I smiled and said, "Maybe not overnight, but it's a way to begin being kind to yourself again." 3 months later, she returned, her face brighter, her voice steadier. She said the nights weren't as painful anymore. "I sleep deeper," she told me. "And more importantly, I've started to believe I can get better." You see, it's that belief, combined with small, steady actions, that creates real, lasting healing. I know. As we grow older, a lot of things change. Our bodies don't move like they used to. Sleep becomes lighter. And some days, we even question if anything can really improve. But I'm here to tell you it can. And you deserve that. A cup of tea won't fix everything, but it can be your reminder, your gentle promise to yourself that I can still do something to care for me. Something natural, something gentle, something that doesn't harm but still brings change. And if you stick with it, if you drink that tea every day, your body will start to respond to the love you're putting in each cup. Maybe you'll feel less pain. Maybe you'll sleep a little better. Maybe your mind will feel a bit clearer, lighter. But above all, you'll start to feel like you're reconnecting with yourself. So if today's video offered you something helpful, I'd be so grateful if you hit that subscribe button. Because I still have many little things I want to share with you. Simple tips, natural habits, gentle tools to help you feel stronger, calmer, and more at home in your body each day. And if you've ever tried one of the teas we talked about, ginger, turmeric, chamomile, green tea, please share your experience in the comments below. You never know. Your story might be the hope someone else needs today. Before I go, let me leave you with this. Aging isn't a decline. It's an invitation. An invitation to slow down, to live more deeply, and to care for our bodies with the gentleness they've always needed. I'll see you in the next video, because in this season of life, your health deserves to be steady and soft. And thank you for staying with me to the end. Remember this, every cup of tea you drink today is a quiet promise to yourself, I'm not done yet. I'm still taking care of me.